work for them. The one interesting note is also just the fact that Annie is actually being banned by 100 Thieves, locked in of both Zeri and Vi. And another thing as well is Veigar is still available. So it seems like the adaptation from 100 Thieves throughout the series just open up the Veigar, let that go, and they've been banning Elise, Annie in this case, and then LeBlanc. So interested to see what the adaptations from Gori. Does it go back to it? They're looking at the Lucian Nami.
It worked so well for them in game 2, right? They had so much power put into Stixxay's shoes, and once they created opportunities, he just really snowballed and carried through a lot of the mid game alongside River. And from there, that is where you get the standard Golden Guardians formula of just starving out the enemy opponents from being able to do anything in the game, forcing 100 Thieves to look for miraculous picks. And this time around, it's not the Nautilus that we saw from game 2 in Busio. He is going for the Lulu to give a little bit of extra Enchantress and utility power for DoubleLift.
Yeah, and those who don't remember, Game 2 was a stomp for Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians had an amazing game on that one, very similar to 100 Thieves stomp in Game 3, so it feels like for the last 2 games, they've been one-sided.
Yep.
So looking at this one, yes, the adaptation is the Lulu, so it's a little bit more focused on protecting, securing DoubleLift throughout the fight. If you're looking at Golden Guardians, I still like it. I'm interested to see what the pick is mid lane, as I mentioned. Veigar has already been banned now, so as soon as the 100 Thieves are just going to be looking to nail down his champions again.
Taking away picks from Bjergsen as well on the side of Golden Guardians, the Taliyah, Annie, Veigar, Silas, and LeBlanc also being taken off the board.
Zilean has to get banned here with the Silas being banned from 100 Thieves side. They're trying to set up for it, so that was the fear that we had going into the previous game. Golden Guardians at least have the Silas in the back pocket so they can block the Zilean from appearing. Let's see what the pick is here for Golden Guardians.
If 100 Thieves do end up going with the Zilean, I imagine that they will then want to save counterpick for Tenacity and to not fall in the same pit trap as they did in previous games.
There it is.
Not allot all the power budget into DoubleLift, because if DoubleLift ever gets picked off, you need a backup carry. And so I feel like if Zilean is the play for 100 Thieves, this might be a game where Tenacity is not just necessarily on any tank. It has to be a tank or a frontline or a bruiser that can also be the backup.
Yeah. And I look at this now. I'm not a big fan of the Sion ban, just because 5 pick is there for 100 Thieves, and Gragas is the one that gets locked in.
Good point.
With Sion being banned, Gragas is a little bit more favorable now, and now it's up to Bjergsen that can choose his matchup. So I think it's a little bit better there for 100 Thieves. I can understand you don't want to deal with we talked about Lulu and Zeri, but Lulu ultied Sion is a bit impossible to deal with. So, want to see what the next few picks are coming in from Golden Guardians. I do like the hover on the Shogath. Makes sense to me.
And I'm right there with the fans. I would love to see a full 5 games. I would love to see Silver Scrapes. It's going to depend on if Golden Guardians can bring us to that point. The Olaf lock-in. This Gragas is not guaranteed to be in the top side of the map. So if this is Golden Guardians putting a lot more faith and trust into saying, Licorice, we feel confident that you can take this Olaf line.
This is wild to me that we're going Olaf here. It's for the lane, I'm assuming. The fact that it's going to be a better matchup going into the Gragas. But as the game goes on, you have quite a bit of protection for DoubleLift. I want to see what the blast pick is going to be for 100 Thieves. But it's going to be a nice amount of kite back. Vi is going to be a little bit awkward in fights like these where you don't want to engage on Olaf or Galio. The Zilean predictably gets locked in, but it's nice to see 100 Thieves are like, okay, I mean, we gave you the chance to ban the Zilean, and now we're able to nail it down. That's a lot of protection. Ulti from Zilean and Lulu, and you get the space being provided by Gragas. I enjoy 100 Thieves' comps quite a bit.
You have so many tools to give DoubleLift a lot of room to just move around in and zoom around. There's not that much point-and-click lockdown from Golden Guardian's side. So if they can't land the Cyclone, if they can't land the taunt from Galio, DoubleLift is just free firing all day.
But I look at Golden Guardian's side, and it's just a lot of great...
Get ready for the next series, as now we take to the Rift. I don't think we're going to see any cheesy level 1s. I was curious if Licorice was going to run in with Golden Guardians and start chucking undertows and invading. Lane invade doesn't seem like that's the case right now.
Yeah, not at all. And overall, just good fanning from both teams. You might see a little late of a short invade from Golden Guardians just to get a ward on enemy Raptors to see where Closer's going to go. That could happen. One thing you definitely don't want if you're Licorice is to be put behind early in a matchup that's favorable to you. So that little bit of information would be nice.
Minions have spawned.
No late invade either. Bjergsen just holding this line of vision from the Raptor camp just in case Golden Guardians wanted to go for something. They might move in closer to the 120 mark. I mean, the way Licorice and River is poised right now, and it's already 120, I think they're going to go for a late invade.
Yeah, let's see if it's going for the camp or just the ward. Seems like they're fully invading here.
Okay, well, this is going to create a split map, and Licorice in an isolated lane, Olaf and Gragas, that seems pretty winning hard for the Olaf. If you can set up pressure and now create a stacking wave, pressure Tenacity off, deny him minions, maybe you just set up Licorice to carry this game.
Perhaps. I'm not a fan of it. If you're splitting the map away from Lucian Nami, you're just losing a lot of intrinsic value in the pick. Why pick them anyways? So I'm kind of expecting River to try and actually go back to his red side camps afterwards to lock Vi away from it.
Flash. Q flash. I mean, flash already from Busio to get the slow down. Stixxay has nowhere else to run, depending on where he decides to go. And Closer doesn't even need to flash. He lands it, and it's first blood for DoubleLift.
Patented Closer, one camp gank. I do not care what's happening on the top side. I am just going to wrap around and get a kill for DoubleLift. That's a check mark right there if you're Closer and DoubleLift. Both that working out really well.
It's pretty big. You already noted it before that if Golden Guardians are choosing to put River on the top side of the map early, Closer responds immediately with saying, I mean, what did you pick this Lucian Nami lane for? You want to play for them priority or not? I'm going to take this advantage and now snowball my AD carry.
Yeah, and this is where it's going to feel really bad. So, yes, you're right. They get the information that the invade top side is going to happen. And so Closer is like, all right, well, I'm just going to smite. And it seems like they're pushing up again. Last game, they did the same thing, Stixxay and Huhi. And so, a nice wraparound. But in the meantime, we're seeing a dive onto Tenacity.
This is what they wanted to play for in the first place. Tenacity body slams, then flashes away, but Licorice pops the ghost. The bonk from the stick. Golden Guardians find the kill they were looking for onto Tenacity.
Oh, and that must have been a huge slow push. Just 3 minions of experience there for Tenacity. He's going to TP back, so that's going to be nice. But he's just praying that he doesn't get dove again. He shouldn't. No mana there for Olaf, so that's just, that sucks. But overall, if you look at the whole map, it feels good if you are 100 Thieves. You're able to actually farm up your bot side here.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if Huhi and Stixxay recognize it at all, but I don't want to push too far into the river or they get wrapped down again.
I was about to say, it would be really concerning for Golden Guardians if they don't get a chance to ward both of those bushes, as Closer would have had an easy gank setup. But now the river is lit up. Gori has a small road timer.
Yeah, and overall, just taking stock of the game. Ooh.
Nicely done from Gori. Just yoinks
Nice
it away.
nab. But overall, just looking at the whole game, yes, there is a slight lead for Golden Guardians. A lot of it is in Tenacity's Licorice's pocket in this matchup. So pressure's on and for Licorice and River to kind of blow that lead up a little bit more. The snowball is what we were looking for Golden Guardians comp, and it's starting a little slow.
River hovering around right now as a wave is being set up, but Stixxay didn't burn any sums from the first gank from Closer, knowing that he wanted to keep these in case that River could make his way around towards the bottom side of the map and rectify the damage that has already been set in stone by Closer.
Yeah, River wasting a little bit of time. Bot lane dive wasn't going to happen. That was actually being contested by Busio and DoubleLift when the wave was being thinned out. He's on a ward here now in line bush, so River is actually just not able to get anything off.
We're almost about 5 minutes into the game. Dragon has spawned. Neither jungler has really set their eyes on it. Closer wants to set up this wave that Tenacity is stacking up and make sure he gets the push in.
Yeah, and this was called out by Closer. He knows that he needs to be here for Tenacity, but I think Tenacity still dies, by the way.
Okay, now Closer winding on up, but if River comes, they have to all in everything onto Licorice and get him down. They take out the kill, and Tenacity, don't tell me he gets out of way.
Oh!
The slow under River. River doesn't have flash from before. Tenacity's out of there!
Oh my god, they start the fight early. Licorice a little too early, probably. But man, the fact that Tenacity is able to get his wave in. Oh, just kidding. I lied about that part. But still able to get the kill on Licorice. Beautiful.
This is the decisiveness that we've come to expect from Closer at his greatest as well. When you know that you have small windows, you can't hesitate, you have to execute. and get out as fast as possible.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to Closer there because if he does not hover Tenacity, his game is just over. I'm sure they were trading sides, but this is just unrecoverable. So they started early because they just did not expect River to be here so fast. Oh, man.
And that was so cool too. Tenacity goes in for the last auto attack to guarantee the phase rush proc.
Yeah.
The extra movement speed so that he can guarantee his safety out of River's counter game. Oh my goodness.
That was nice. That was nice. And so, I don't know what happened here bot lane, but they're taking a lot of pounding. Heal is still there from Busio and DoubleLift, but they're probably concerned about a dive. That's why Closer is in the area. It's still not enough, so actually have to lose that wave there. 10 behind, and it's only gonna grow. So, a little troubling there for Busio and DoubleLift.
Closer just doing what he can to ensure that the lanes that did get damaged are somewhat salvaged. But this bot lane pressure that opens up naturally because of the Lucian Nami priority, it's going to give River the opportunity to get the first dragon done from the game. About another minute before Rift Herald then spawns on the map.
It's kind of crazy. If you look at the game as a whole so far, you know, Closer's there top, does the right thing, gets a gank bot lane, does the right thing once again. But these lanes are just too hard.
Yep.
Golden Guardians drafted well for the lane, so even if you think about the ideal team fight later on in the game, yes, you give a lot of praise to 100 Thieves overall, but they're just not going to get there in one piece.
It's all about not just the one time visiting and saving those lanes. It's going to have to be repeated measures over and over and over again. And on the flip side for River, since he knows that Closer is going to have to come and salvage these lanes, he gets a chance to cover them. He gets a chance to counter gank and do even more damage if Closer takes that gamble.
Yeah, and there's one piece that we haven't talked about, which is the Galio.
Yep.
Has ulti available. He's getting the push out. Bjergsen is going to have to base at some point, and that gives a window for Gori to choose one lane. He can go bot lane if they want to look for a play. River is basing right now, so he wasn't going to go for anything here. Or they can go for a straight dive top lane, which is just doable. It's going to happen. It feels like that one's the easiest one with how far behind Tenacity was with the first one. He's actually neutralizing it now, but overall, it just seems like a good idea to try and spiral the top lane a little bit more ahead.
I mean, the flip side from what we saw in Game 3, where Gori was ganked early by Closer and couldn't move at all, couldn't roam to cover or move with River. He now has that opportunity on something like the Galio. He's getting the push in against Bjergsen's Zilean. He always has this opportunity where if River finds an angle to go for Cyclone, it's an easy layup into the hero's entrance, and that pressure alone is giving River the ability to look for this Rift Herald. Okay, so they're going to use that window of Bjergsen's base for Rift Herald, as you say. Not going to go for any aggressive dives. Overall, it's just a confirmed advantage. Busio's just getting pelted, but overall, you have to be happy if you are Golden Guardians with everything working here. Licorice is just going to commit, but maybe he backs away. Oh my goodness, he wants to go for the dive. The hero's entrance comes in as a bomb from Bjergsen is going to make a 1-for-1 trade. And now both mid laners find themselves on the top side of the map. There you go. I thought he was going to back away knowing that the TP was coming through, but now he's like, I'm going to stick with the fight. Tried to lifesteal a little bit, so maybe that last turret shot doesn't kill him. But overall, he's going to deny the wave. So that's another one. Wow, there it is. But yeah, another denied wave for Licorice. So good job on that front. I like this look. It's a completely different look from the regular season where, as I said, that isolation in the top lane, they don't generally go top lane early to help him out or draft a lot of these aggressive matchups for him, but he's able to get it. And that confidence is paying off. Yeah. And Licorice does go down because of Bjergsen's interference with the play. Yeah. But the fact that Golden Guardians are putting trust into Licorice when their backs are against the wall, this is them saying, hey guys, we have tried playing through bot. We didn't get Gori rolling either. I think it's time we just try and see what happens if we give Licorice a comfort pick, which is this Olaf, and allow him to be facilitated to snowball this mid game. It's honestly, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a comfort pick. It's more like he just has a larger pool that he's willing to play. I remember when he first came onto Golden Guardians, he had the Trundle that he would pull out, and that was a weird flex pick that really worked for Golden Guardians. If they can find those angles in draft, it works well for them. Now, Dragon's coming up in a minute 30, so it's just a fight for vision control in the area. And River's just sitting here with Gori. Yes, so Bjergsen eventually has to pick up the mid lane wave. So now that they can start clearing these wards out. Once again, the priority from the bottom lane and mid lane. gives River complete control of this River. Rift Herald is going to be thrown down to pressure, but the immediate flash away from the Vault Breaker as he goes back in, gets Closer's own flash, but that Cyclone blown. He gets one more cast, but it's not going to be used. As Gori trying to find a way to stop or make sure the Rift Herald still gets the crash in, and it does. Turret plates acquired for Golden Guardians.
Well done there from River. Flashed away and then re-engaged to burn Closer's flash himself. And they also just recognized that committing to a dive was not going to be smart, with Bjergsen also rotating there too. So they got the gold, they got out, and now it's just ballooned a little bit to a 1.7k gold lead for Golden Guardians. It's a nice place to be, and they have options, as I mentioned. Like, they're continuously going bot lane, but with how Stixxay and Huhi are playing their lane, they don't need to come down bot again. They can always just continue to bully Tenacity top lane.
Yeah.
And then put them further and further in a gold pit, where it's like, okay, now you have to fight for, you know, third Drake, because I expect him to get second. Third Drake, now you have to fight us. You're just not strong enough. That's going to be the goal here from GG.
And Licorice is almost completed on what I assume is going to be the Ravenous Hydra first completion for this Olaf pick. He's going to have almost unlimited amount of sustain. Tenacity is going for the scaling build with tier into the Rod of Ages as well, so it's going to take a while for him to come online. So Licorice does really have this strong point of power on the top side of the map where eventually it's going to crumble, and Golden Guardians can take their bottom side of the map and start playing through that side.
That being said, River's a bit too slow to come in, but they might just pick this fight.
Tidal Wave, they know Closer has no flash. He has no choice but to use the Cease and Desist and buy some time. Heroes Entrance right on top. River actually gets traded out, and it's the Chrono Break from Bjergsen gives another life over to Closer, but he goes down anyway as Huhi cleans up that kill. The rest of 100 Thieves now on the chase as DoubleLift has popped the ultimate. Great bubble from Huhi stops DoubleLift in his tracks. Because both junglers are gone, this Dragon take is now a little bit more iffy, and neither team wants to take it.
Yeah, neither team wants to take it, but it was a nice one from 100 Thieves to take that fight. Remember, as I said, River was a little bit too slow onto the map, slow on tempo. Okay, just trying to push him out. And so that meant that 100 Thieves could actually completely clear out the vision that Golden Guardians had actually put in a lot of effort to place down, take positioning on another dragon, and just rush it. So it's rough that Golden Guardians put all that work in the vision and then just had to fight for it again. So they're going to probably be looking back at that one as to a reason why they lost that. Ooh.
Does Licorice just go for the all-in? No, he's got to clean up this wave. I always like the bloodthirsty approach, but you gotta make sure you're keeping up in gold. As Golden Guardians return to the Dragon Pit. Yes, there's vision from side 100 Thieves, but it seems like Golden Guardians have this one in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, 100 Thieves literally used everything. All of these from Closer, Bjergsen, DoubleLift, and Busio. Why take that fight? But now they're looking for a pick on a Licorice.
I mean, 100 Thieves know that if there's no chance at a Dragon fight, let's try to find a pick somewhere else on the top side of the map. It doesn't get a kill, but Licorice's ghost will be expended.
Okay. Just to force them. Knew they weren't going to contest that one, so why not try something topside? And I think Golden Guardians have been now a little bit comfortable with 100 Thieves trading sides. Don't want to get picked too much, but losing Ghost, if a fight were to happen again while it's down, is going to suck, but nothing happens, and Golden Guardians get their second dragon now and expand their lead. So overall, good for that team.
Looks like Gori will be moving up to catch this wave at the time being, but wants to make sure that there's no one waiting in the wings to make a dive happen. It's actually Stixxay that gets to clean this up.
Just a 1k gold difference from Tenacity and Licorice. That's how much of a gap it is right now. And it's just hard for him, I think, past the early game where he was getting pummeled. Tenacity has been doing a decent job at remaining safe. And this is just probably a great adaptation from Golden Guardians that I've seen 100 Thieves really prioritize going towards the Gragas again and again.
Yeah. The other side of it, too, now is that even though both Licorice and Tenacity have this white item spike,
yeah,
the Rod of Ages is still taking time to scale up, whereas this Ravenous Hydra, as soon as you clear up the 40 minions, I mean, that thing is fully stacked up and at max power. And from that point on, you don't want to take any fights if you are Tenacity against Licorice. You just kind of have to concede the wave, you have to concede control, and if he wants to dive on the tower, he definitely can.
Yeah. Looking at this, I don't think there's a way for 100 Thieves to fight for this. Even with DP there for Tenacity, I think you just take the wave top lane, give Rift Herald to them, and look to defend. But they're moving just in case. Closer is... Actually, this is interesting. They're maybe setting up for when Golden Guardians perhaps places Rift Herald top lane, that they can use the ward in the third bush top lane for a TP from Gragas, and for a pick from Vi.
Maybe.
He's charging it up.
Yeah, Tenacity is already in position where he can recall, and he's moving on up out of vision.
Yeah.
Just in case.
Okay, backing away completely. Smart, safe. Don't want to try anything. Rip Trail is just basing here, so Stixxay recognizing that and doesn't want to stay in lane for too long. So now Closer's just chilling here and waiting for Zeri and Lulu to push out the wave.
Really awesome to see. I know that for most, because nothing really happened, it might not seem like there was nothing going on, but you can tell that the brains are working for both sides of the team. They're thinking, okay, we'll make this play. And the Golden Guardians were like, well, do we want to pick up this wave? Actually, we don't know where Tenacity is.
Man, he's just chilling in there.
Yeah.
He set up a tent, a new home, got a mortgage out and everything.
Dude, Closer is committed to this play. He is waiting.
Something happens. Oh, target found. Charging Q. Just kidding.
I mean, the payoff, if this works out, is massive.
I wonder what the confusion is going to look like for River, where he's like, where the hell has Closer been?
Either they're pinging. Look on the bottom side of the map. River is invading the bot side of the map, and they're checking.
Like, these camps are still up?
What is this man doing? He's starving himself? For what?
Okay, now they see him on their ward.
Dude, Closer already knows, like, hold up. Licorice
Yeah.
just disappeared from the bot side of the map. These wolves are not mine to take.
It's funny because at this stage, Golden Guardians recognizes that 100 Thieves, when they're this far behind, are going to try to find any fights.
Yeah.
So Golden Guardians are like, all right, let's just chill. We don't need to do anything around our weak side. If River's basing, then I'm going to back away.
Yeah.
If I'm Gori and I'm top lane and I got no help, why am I going to try for an extra wave at the river, around River when it doesn't make sense? So here we go, pushing them away.
Yeah. Oh, a lot of damage onto Busio, but they go right for Stixxay. Tenacity flash body slams in to look for the barrel, but Stixxay gets pushed out safely. Closer gets revived, but just goes down to Stixxay anyway. The double bomb doesn't land a stun, and Golden Guardians get to walk out with a kill on their backs.
Looked like anti-synergy to me. Man didn't even have to flash. Got out safely for that one, but River might look for another one.
35 seconds on the next dragon of the game. It will be third for Golden Guardians, and 100 Thieves still have to reset. Even though Golden Guardians are also taking this time, they have much more control as laid out with their vision in the bottom side of the jungle.
And it just feels bad if you're the Vi. We talked about it in draft. If you're trying to find a play, this looks good. Guess what? Galio ulti on top of your head, and it doesn't help that Stixxay gets a get out of jail free card there.
Yeah. And you could see that Closer and Tenacity wanted to make the same play together, but because Licorice and River approach from that right side, it interrupts Tenacity's body slam. He can't line up the cast to really pelt Stixxay into his own back line. Golden Guardians just properly setting up the necessary battle lines to protect Stixxay this game.
Now Drake is going to be picked up. You can see it here. River is going for the third one. Hex sold 2, so kind of reminds me when Chime was up here, he's like, look, maybe they could trade sides, but Exol just makes this harder and harder.
Yep.
It's the same case this game. So looking like the reality that we get into a game 5. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. Well, it is a 5,000 gold deficit, and it's not necessarily the end of the game for 100 Thieves, but it is very difficult as Licorice is now just diving onto the tower. We talked about this before. The Ravenous Hydra gives him the sustain, but he cannot complete the kill in the Tenacity because he had the ulti from Bjergsen, keeping himself alive, and was trying to find that window where he could throw in another undertow, but didn't find it.
Yeah, couldn't get the kill, but it still should be turret. The next wave's going to take a while, so they need to finish off here. And also Galio on the opposite side of the map, just holding 3 members of 100 Thieves, not doing anything too crazy, recognizes he just needs to chill out and farm the wave safely. So just no openings. Next dragon's going to be in 4 minutes, so that's going to be Soul. 100 Thieves has to mark that on the calendar. Good luck with that.
Yeah, this is a tough position for 100 Thieves. Golden Guardians, once again, this is the standard stock of how Golden Guardians will play this game. It's not necessarily as bloody of a game, but once they get control, they starve you out, they push you off resources,
Yep.
They force you into uncomfortable situations where you are, if you're 100 Thieves, you're forced to try and scramble and look for desperate picks. But the fact that Golden Guardians have gotten a taste of that earlier in this series, they're playing with a lot more reservation, and they're playing with more discipline around these timers.
There it is. Fun thing about, just a note, going into next game with how much Wukong is being prioritized, because it's, for sure it's not really a flex, not being used as a flex whatsoever. It's just a good way to engage, good way to disengage. It kind of feels like it does a lot. It can also eat up and engage with your clone, We've seen Closer do that a lot. River has been putting in magic in this game too. So the priority on this pick is massive.
Yeah.
And especially since you're going into a Vi, that level of disengage is working wonders. So you're able to get a top lane turret now. Slowly, meticulously, just trying to pick 100 Thieves apart.
And they might have found Tenacity here, but it looks like he might just get enough distance. Huhi was ready. He gave Stixxay all the buffs. He's like, go get him. Stixxay's like, no.
Yeah.
He's out of there.
It's not happening.
3 minutes until Dragon Soul is available for Golden Guardians taking. It would put them in game-defining position to close out this game as Licorice, this might be a timer, but he uses the Ragnarok to cancel the cease and desist, and he walks out just fine.
Okay, you should still have up for the next objective, so that's going to be fine there. A nice try from 100 Thieves to pick that up, and yeah, I think it's still important to actually talk about the stakes of this match. Yes, loser is out of the playoffs. The whole split comes down to this, and if you look at 100 Thieves side, I think everyone kind of expected this team to do some damage in playoffs, especially after the last week. A lot of praise there, including myself, man. I thought they were going to be able to take down FlyQuest. That's coping. So, like, that wasn't going to happen at all, it seemed like. And you expected the lower bracket run. People were talking about, hey, you know what? Maintenance issue, but the Rocket's still going. Just kidding. This is another maintenance issue. And now it's up to Golden Guardians, who have been on fire during the middle portion of the split. That was failing a little bit at the end. The Dignitas loss felt like, you know, desperation. Like they needed a reality check. And it feels like this adaptation's really worked well for them. This game's looking incredible for the team, and this could be that endgame fight.
Tidal Wave cuts off the backline, and multi-man Cyclone from River will find Closer, the smackdown from the hero entrance of Gori. And what a heroic entrance it has been. A double kill for himself. DoubleLift is cut off, skates over the wall. Licorice throws the undertow, looks for the blast cone, but damn, Gori hits him in the back of the head with a giant punch. That's a triple for Gori, and it's Baron for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, that's your first team all-pro mid laner in Gori. That ultimate just blowing him up, and then also just flash taunting to get the next two. He played that fight out perfectly. He's getting pelted a little bit, annoying. A mosquito just hitting him again and again.
Huhi flashes to the wall. It's like, I got you, buddy. You're not going down on me, King.
Everyone must be saved. No man left behind. Huge fight. Baron taken. Golden Guardians put a stamp onto this game.
We get a chance to look at the back of this replay. Watch again, River as he baits out Vi and then goes right back in.
That Nami ulti separated him too, and then follows up with another ulti. Galio ulti comes in perfectly, so even though I gave the praise to Gori, the taunt flash also great. That was, a lot of that fight was River. River knew that Closer was gonna come in, waited for it, anticipated it, got the fight started, and then the Nami ulti to separate him, so he had no one to come in and save him. Overall, really enjoyed that fight from both River and Huhi, and then Gori just came in with an elbow drop.
And now River finding a flank on the right side thanks to the Hextech portals. As Stixxay isolates Tenacity, DoubleLift takes out Gori. It's a big shutdown for 100 Thieves, and it's a 4-on-4. No tank for the side of 100 Thieves as the front line is gone. Golden Guardians now push back. DoubleLift is revved up. Closer doesn't have cease and desist anymore, but they push him off. This is still Hextech Soul point for Golden Guardians, and they will want to be able to push for this. River, no Cyclone available, goes in, baits it out, and Ragnarok is now popped. Closer is left all alone. They have double bombs just waiting for his revival, but Licorice now into the back line. This is what happens when you give him the resources. Licorice can be the key to help you clutch out a fight, as Golden Guardians now eliminate all 5 off the table, and they'll push into the base.
They thought they didn't have enough. They blew right past them, didn't even need the Galio there. This was Golden Guardians just steamrolling 100 Thieves to put this into a game 5.
We're gonna get it, Raz. We're gonna get the silver scrapes. The fans were asking for it. It's 11,000 gold lead. Tenacity is the last one defending this base. Busio's coming up in a few seconds, but this one is all but not for Golden Guardians. Ladies and gentlemen, the LCS studio, we are going to game 5 for Golden Guardians and 100 Thieves.
That last game, expelled that. It's not in their memory bank. It's gone. This one, they came back, were prepared. A lot of the plays that Golden Guardians made this game worked, even though that first gank bot lane, obviously, okay, closer got us, that's fine. When top lane got Olaf ahead, did it again, he blew up a little bit, and it felt like even with that gank that happened bot side, Stixxay and Huhi brushed that off and dominated the lane. So that was both top lane and bot lane on fire. Your Bjergsen mid lane looking at your F key and you're seeing top and bot lane, it's not working out. You see smiles on Licorice's face.
Oh yeah, he got to play. He got to play the game.
Yep.
Like, my coach gave me Olaf. I got to run down a couple carries on 100 Thieves. You know, it's so invigorating and so validating as well for someone like Licorice, who has been slept on and pretty much, you know, underrated compared to a lot of the other top laner competition in the regular split.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just overlooked so many times. And even in that episode of The Dive where he talked about, I mean, it's easy to look good when you're on a top team and it's easy to look bad when you're on a bottom team. And considering Licorice's career, he was on a couple of bottom teams for the past couple of years, but for him to be given resources and him to flourish in late game fights and the pressure being built around him, that's important for now a game 5 where 100 Thieves have to make adaptations.
Yeah, you're looking at that last game. You're talking about looking like a top team. He's looking good. So it feels like the series has gotten to a point where now these pocket picks, things that are changing the game, is really a big deal. We saw Busio Blitzcrank in one, and now we're seeing the Olaf coming in top lane. So the draft is going to be the most interesting thing going into game 5 because we joked about blue side a lot. It worked again. And I want to see, I just know 100 Thieves is going to pick blue side, but will that matter? That's all the question is.
Well, are we going to see a full-on 100% win ratio for a blue side? I mean, that story will have to unfold later as we get ready for game 5. But before that,